Hello everyone, and welcome to Make Believe Storytime's mini stories series, in which each adventure is inspired by the role of the story dice. My name is Beatrice, and today I have the pleasure of introducing our first ever guest reader here at Make Believe Storytime, actor Gemma Fernandes. If you'd like to see what else Gemma is up to, you can do so at the link or tag in the description box below. Now, sit back, relax, and get ready for a new and awesome adventure.
Hello, my name is Gemma, and today I'm going to be reading The Tweedle's Shadow. Once upon a time, in the shade of a towering oak tree, the Snowdrop Kingdom was waking from a long winter in hibernation. The sun was still low in the sky when the first of the flower folk ventured out into the crisp morning. They plucked baubles of dew from the long grass and drank them down, shaking off sleep. Soon, the good mornings gave way to nervous whispers. Fore-pitched at the old tree's boundary was a little green tent. A thin trail of smoke rose from a dying fire. The king of this land was a man named Crocus. Word reached him quickly of the little tent, and he strode out to discover what was going on. Inside the tent was a terrified Tweedle, watching nervously through the narrow opening. When he saw King Crocus approaching, the Tweedle burst from the tent and fell on his knees. "Please help me, your highness," he begged. "I am haunted by an evil shadow." The king was shocked. Tweedles are small creatures with a love of playful singing and whistling. They are happy people. Never had he seen a Tweedle in such a terrible state. He bent at once and helped him to his feet. "What's your name?" he asked gently. "Trill," the Tweedle answered, wiping his nose on the back of his arm. The king spoke to the nearest of his subjects. "Bring food and drink to the hollow and summon Galanthus." He put his arm around Trill and helped him to the hollow, which was a large fallen branch close to the base of the oak tree. The curious flower folk were soon all crowded inside the hollow, patiently waiting, watching. Galanthus arrived, leaning heavily on his stick. He was older than everyone in the Snowdrop Kingdom, and it was rumoured for miles around that he had the answer to all life's questions. Trill was given honey tea and sunflower seeds, which soon revived his energy levels. He spoke to Galanthus. "I have travelled for many days and nights to find you. I am haunted by a shadow that frightens me. It is there every night, always behind me." Galanthus nodded. "How is it that you see this shadow at night? The night is dark, and a shadow is cast by a light shining on you." "I have never seen it, but I feel it. It comes when I'm alone." Galanthus nodded again. "It is difficult to know a problem we cannot see. I propose we shine a light on your shadow." Galanthus got to his feet and began directing some of the folk nearby. He moved to the fire pit in the centre of the hollow, constructed beneath a small opening in the roof. They soon had a roaring orange fire in the pit. Galanthus guided Trill to a space between the fire pit and the wall. Trill looked over his shoulder at the very ordinary shadow cast by the firelight and back down to the fire. Galanthus was chanting something in a low voice that Trill could not understand. Slowly, the chant spread through the folk gathered there and was soon as thick and deafening as rain. Galanthus suddenly raised his arm and hurled something into the fire. Blue light exploded into the room. Silence rang in Trill's ears and he looked to Galanthus. "Turn around, Trill," he said, smiling gently, "and face your shadow." Trill took a deep breath and turned around. Behind him loomed an enormous black shadow that sprang from his feet but did not move with him. "You're quite safe. He is trapped by this light, so you may examine him. Tell me, what do you notice?" "He's very big," Trill said, "and he looks angry." Trill looked at Galanthus, then took a step towards the shadow. "He has a lot of spiky hair, like mine, but bigger, and his eyes. They've changed. They look scared now. Actually, no. Now they seem sad. He's confused. He doesn't know what to do." Galanthus smiled. "Anything else?" he asked. Trill's shoulders dropped. "He looks like me. I mean, he is like me." Trill stepped closer to the shadow. He put out a hand and touched the wooden wall the shadow lay on. "He is me, isn't he?" "Yes, you have been hiding from yourself. He's big because there's so much life in you, so many thoughts and feelings. And he looks like you because he's a part of you. You must learn to listen to him." Trill looked up at his shadow, at his own fears and worries. The shadow shrank and appeared to relax. It smiled at Trill. The sunlight was bright as Trill, and the flower folk walked out of the hollow and into the early spring day. Trill stood with King Crocus on his left and Galanthus on his right. He took a deep breath. "Will you stay?" the king asked. "No, thank you for everything, but I think I should go." "You'll be all right travelling back on your own?" Trill smiled. "I have a new friend to keep me company, and we have a lot to talk about."
I hope you guys enjoyed the story as much as we have here at Make Believe Storytime. We are extremely grateful to Gemma for being our first ever guest reader and for lending us her storytelling skills. Now, today's story was inspired by a walk in the countryside where we found a snowdrop kingdom. We had to roll all 9 of the anything story dice in order to find out what it would be about. And the images we got were a tree, a walking stick, a small person with a big scary shadow, a teepee or tent, a torch, a compass, a magic wand, a padlock, and a person sleeping. Do you know what your shadow would look like if it showed how you feel right now? Why don't you draw it? Or perhaps you could write a story about you and your shadow. For more activity suggestions, free colouring pages and storytelling videos, follow Make Believe Storytime on Facebook, Instagram and YouTube. I'll see you guys next time.